Hi, we're going to look at section 2.3, which is solving problems involving credit. Now, most of what we're doing is essentially the same as what we've done in sections 2.1 and 2.2, but we'll be utilizing some new terminology. And we'll come across that terminology in the practice questions and our examples. So it's good to know what these things are, both for practice work and for once you get out of high school. So a line of credit is a pre-approved loan that offers immediate access to funds up to a predefined limit. And with it, you have a minimum monthly payment based on accumulated interest. There is also what's known as a secure line of credit, which is the same as a line of credit, but typically has a lower interest rate because it's guaranteed against the client's assets. So for example, someone may have used a vehicle or a piece of property as an asset to get a lower interest rate. And then there is the Bank of Canada prime rate, which is a value set by Canada's central bank, which offers financial institutions set their rates by. So usually the Bank of Canada will set the prime rate, and lots of lenders will lend at a specific amount above the prime rate. So we'll look at an example. You want to buy a new car and need to use credit to finance it. The cost with taxes is $60,000. You would like to repay the loan in 5 years using monthly payments, and you have two options. You can use your secured line of credit, which is 1.7% above the Bank of Canada rate of 5%. And this rate is compounded monthly. Or the dealership's financing plan at 6.7% compounded daily. We want to figure out which option should you choose and why. So we'll calculate what each will end up costing you in the long run. And part B is suppose the Bank of Canada's rate changed to 5.6% after 2 years. How would this impact the amount made? Okay, so first we will start with our secured line of credit. So because we have our monthly payments, we're going to be using our TVMs over again. So we need to figure out what N is, what I is, what PV is. We're solving for essentially our payment. We need to figure out what to enter for future value. Our payment per year, compounding periods per year, and then we're making our payments at the end. Okay, so we want to pay it back in 5 years and with monthly payments. So we're going to go 5 times 12. So our N that we're going to use is 60. Now, if interest rate is 1.7% above the Bank of Canada rate of 5%, so 5% plus 1.7% gives us 6.7%. They've got 6.7. Our present value, PV, is what we owe, so we're going to be owing $60,000. We're solving for payment, so we'll leave that empty for now. Future value is going to be 0. Payments per year, we said monthly payments and compounded monthly. So we'll put this in our TVM solver, exit the TVM solver, then go back into apps, select finance, and then we're going to solve for the second one down, the payment. And that's going to give us payments of $1,179.60. So that's how much we're paying each month. To figure out how much we pay in total, we need to take our number of payments and multiply it by this. So we have 60 times $1,179.60. And we end up paying $70,775.87 for the $60,000 vehicle. Next, we'll look at the dealership and their financing option. So we'll go fill this out. So we want to, once again, make monthly payments. So it's going to be the same N as the other one. Our interest is actually going to be the same as well. It was 6.7%. Present value is going to be the same, negative 60,000. Payment we're solving for, future value is going to be 0. Payments per year is going to be 12, and compounding periods per year. This is only different. It's going to be 365 because it's compounded daily. So we'll then use a TVM solver to solve for a payment. And it gives us a payment of $1,180.11. So to get our total amount, we're going to take our payment and multiply it by 60 because we're making 60 payments. So we have 60 times 1,180.11. So our total amount is going to be $70,806.52. So see, despite them having the same annual interest rate, the dealership one's going to cost slightly more because it's being compounded more frequently. Now, Part B deals with the fact that our secured line of credit, the interest rate can change. So it's going to change along with the Bank of Canada rate, where typically the dealership rate will be locked in for the entire time. So Part B is, what if it changed to 5.6% after 2 years? So for a Bank of Canada rate. So what we actually need to do is figure out how much we still owe after 2 years. Now we know that essentially these would be our payments for the first 2 years. So we'll utilize a lot of information here to solve for our FV at 2 years. So filling out what's going to go in our TVM solver. Okay, so our interest rate changes after 2 years. So our number of payments at original rate is just going to be 2 times 12, so 2 years times 12 payments. So that will be 24, and that's going to be at 6.7%. Our present value is negative 60,000. We found out our payments up here, so they are $1,179.60. Our future value we will solve for. Our payments per year is 12, and compounding periods per year is also 12. So we're solving for the future value, so we'll put that into our TVM solver, and our future value tells us that after 2 years, we still owe $38,373.18. And then our interest rate changes, so we're going to have to redo the second part of our calculations. Now, if we've gone 2 years and we want it paid off within 3 years, or sorry, 5 years, that means that this one will be for 3 years. So we've got 3 times 12, which gives us 36. Now to get our new interest rate, if our Bank of Canada rate goes up to 5.6%, and we are being charged 1.7% above that rate, our new interest rate that we'll be using for this calculation is going to be 7.3%. Our present value will be a negative version of this, so negative 38,373.18, because that's what we still owe. Our payments we're going to solve for. Our future value, we're going to have it paid off after 3 years, so that's going to be 0. Payments per year is 12. Compounding periods per year is 12. So we will solve for our payments. And our payments end up going up to $1,190.12. So now we need to figure out how much in total we are paying. So in total, we are making essentially 24 payments at $1,179.60 plus 36 payments at $1,190.12. And overall, we end up spending $71,154.72. So this one now ends up being the more expensive one going off a line of credit. That being said, the interest rate won't necessarily always go up. Sometimes it would go down, in which case these payments would also go down.